Well, thank you everyone for joining us today for our Harmony EDI product launch. And we're doing this webinar today. We're very, very excited about showing you some things today. We're going to kind of go over some little bit of background on EDI and the solution there. And then Blair is going to take you into a deep dive and a demo into the product. So I'm joined by Blair Pzytula, who's a product manager. I'm David Rastatter of the product marketing team here at Jitterbit. So first, let's kind of, shape the narrative for a second. Many of you may or may not be familiar with EDI, or it's something you're looking to get into and add that to your business initiatives. And then some of you are well down the road with that. So this, you came to the right place because this webinar is for both of you. First of all, what is EDI? EDI is electronic data interchange. It's a common protocol for information sharing between two different businesses, a supplier and a retailer, two trading partners. The list goes on and on for the different verticals that EDI can help with. One of the strong benefits of EDI is its its stability, its security, their compliance guidelines, and the document sharing is in a standardized process. So this reduces the vulnerability to errors and bad data being shared across different parties or in between your platforms. So why do we use EDI? Well, not only does it have the stability, security, and that side of it, but a lot of marketplaces out there only do business with their trading partners using EDI. Some examples I have here are Amazon, Home Depot, Walmart, Costco, Bass Pro Shops. There's a ton of them out there, and they do require EDI, and they do have certain guidelines that they would like their trading partners to adhere to avoid inaccuracies in inventory counts, shipping information. The list can go on there. But this is a good way for an agreed upon way for two different parties to exchange information. Next slide, please. So I kind of went over some of the benefits of EDI. Now, EDI integration, that's sort of another level to this, what we're talking about today. That's when you actually can use integration technology and automate the data between the EDI document and your backend systems. That could be your ERP, your CRM, or any other back office system, accounting software, et cetera. By doing that, you reduce the inaccuracies, you stay in compliance with the trading partner, and you keep things consistent. Some of the benefits that we've seen is 90% lowering costs per document compared to manual processing. That's where that automation piece comes in that I just talked about. We've seen a decrease in overall transaction costs and then reduction in transactional errors because of that automation. And then we've also seen an increase in order to cash cycle time. Next slide. So now I'd like to sort of pass it over to Blair, and he's going to go down into talking about our Harmony EDI platform, some of the benefits, and then we'll get on to a demo. I'd like to friendly reminder before we go there, please use the control panel at the bottom of your screen. You can use that to ask questions, and we will get to those at the end of today's session. And with that, Blair, all yours.
Thanks, David. So like Dave was saying, we're introducing the Harmony EDI piece, which is a solution within the Harmony infrastructure of the platform. So what is it? Essentially, it's a cloud-based self-managed EDI solution. So what does that mean? That means you'll be able to create, add a trading partner from our library or trading partners, select maps, create workflows, monitor the transactions, see that full visibility, not just the transaction, but the raw EDI data going in, the transform data that we use, which is a standard XCBL, XML format, being able to see all that information and use that across your network within your business as well. So not just the person working on the integration, but the line of business person, order desk people. Many people can take advantage of this system. It's not limited just to the technical people within your organization. So that'll include the testing, the configuration, and the EDI pieces as well. And we'll touch on all this as we go through the integration pieces and within the platform. So what will it do? So as a customer, as a partner, as a user, you'll be able to manage your EDI trading partners. So it's very intuitive, very user-friendly, being able to select maps and 850 and 810, if people are familiar with those type of documents, monitor those transactions that occur within the system, not just with your trading partner, but within Harmony itself. It gives you access to hundreds of pre-configured setup trading partners with over 4,000 maps already set up and installed. That transaction lifecycle we keep on talking about, being able to see documents flowing in, being able to see that document being processed, being able to pull out invoices and match up against orders as well as shipments. So this is all part and parcel of the platform. Full configuration per trading partner, envelope IDs, ISA IDs, everything you're familiar with within the EDI infrastructure, and that dashboard to monitor the transactions. So within Harmony, we have all those different pieces. And what we're trying to emphasize is that we have a fully integrated solution. So we're not just stopping at giving you access to just the pieces that you might not manage. We're giving you access to the EDI solution as a whole, allowing you to step through every single piece. And we're not hiding anything from you. We're giving you full access to everything from the ground up. So you'll be able to monitor all the messaging. Any error messaging will be captured and provided to you. The raw EDI format, which we'll touch on when I go through the demonstration, and being able to visibly see and monitor those transactions. So that's a very important thing. And the one thing that we want to emphasize is the management of the trading partners. We want to give you that access across multiple environments. So if you are a Harmony user, you know that you have multiple environments within each organization or org that you set up. What you'll be able to do is set up trading partners into each of those environments. So if you have a set of trading partners for a line of business, you can set up 10 trading partners in one environment and a different set of trading partners in another environment. Or for testing purposes, create your 10 or 5 or whatever amount of trading partners you have, and then create that same exact setup in a production environment. So it's easy to switch over. You can maintain configuration. So these are all things that you can do within the setup within Harmony EDI. So we've talked a lot about just the high level aspects of the EDI, and really what we're trying to do is tell you that the advantage to using Harmony EDI is fourfold. We have an effortless piece, which is removing that complexity. So other systems, non-intuitive, very difficult to set up, a lot of nomenclature you're not going to understand. We've designed this so any user, from regular business users to the technical users, can set this up and manage it. Trying to give you that flexibility when setting up the training partners with their associated documents is part of this, but we want to remain flexible. So we want to be able to give you as many options as you want, being able to comply with the EDI trading partner, being able to work within the other applications within Harmony, including Cloud Studio, APIM, and Management Console. And again, if you're not a Harmony user, these are all the different applications we have, and they all tie together in some manner. Full end-to-end integrated solution. So bringing in the document, transforming it, bringing it into Cloud Studio, being able to map that data, transform that data over to an ERP, a database, and then be able to pull the data back out and then translate it back for your trading partner. That's what we mean by end-to-end integration. Provide EDI transaction level access for anybody in your organization, including your customer service team. So we're not restricting this just to the end user, to the high-end developer, administrators. Everybody has full access, and you can set this up in a number of different ways. Expertise. So if you don't have in-house EDI expertise, we can definitely help that. Even if you don't have expertise with integration, we can help that as well. So we have many people on our team that know how to set up, manage, test EDI documents. So it's not like you have to have that experience coming in. We can definitely help you in any number of ways. We also have individuals with ERP integration experience that can accelerate that customer onboarding. So again, if you don't have that in-house expertise, we can definitely provide that or at least assist with that. Pre-built, what we mean by that is that we already have hundreds of trading partners, thousands of maps set up already, ready to go. You can also request additional trading partners and maps to be set up as part of the integration, as part of the solution. We can also integrate directly into any of the pieces that we mentioned before within the Harmony infrastructure. A whole bunch of different use cases. Obviously, customers will probably find use cases we never thought of, but that's what we want to try to do, is create one solution that you can fit across the entire Harmony platform. Leverage all necessary tools. So what that means is that we're giving you an enterprise level solution, but there's no third-party application involved. This is all in-house support. The expertise will all be in-house. You'll be dealing with one entity when you're dealing with your integration, your EDI, your any of the management console pieces within Harmony. So it's all in-house. The other thing we want to implement, the implementation choices. So we kind of touched on it just previously. We're talking about self-managed. So self-managed means you might have an internal team, a technical team. You might have advanced Harmony user knowledge, extensive EDI knowledge. So you're not going to need a lot of assistance. You might need a little bit of, so-called hand-holding, some assistance maybe with testing, but you'll be able to handle most of the integration yourself. Shared management would be something where you might not have a technical EDI person. You may not have somebody with integration experience. We can definitely help you there as well. Basically, we can help you from the very beginnings with testing all the way to trying to get that invoice or document into an ERP or a backend system. So this is a matter of contacting Jitterbit, if you have a CSM, an AE, discuss options, and we can lay out and obviously demonstrate the solution and go through a number of different options we can go through. From an operational utilization piece, we've kind of broken this down into three pieces. The developer, which is a highly technical person on your team, manages the EDI integration with Cloud Studio. They may rely on the administrator for EDI or ERP knowledge, but they're going to handle the Cloud Studio and the integration, the scripting, everything that's involved there. The administrator, the business technologist, will be very technical, but they may just manage the EDI setup, which again, it's a separate module, separate platform, which they can do that. They may help out the developer with understanding the EDI pieces and the ERP resource for the developer. The business owner may be somebody on the front lines. They may have the relationship with the EDI vendor. They may understand the ERP, the business flow, and all those pieces that the administrator and developer don't truly have a grasp on, and they're going to help them understand that data, what the PO is, the process, and help the technical team get that data through and make sure all the checks and balances are in place moving forward. So I mentioned it before, touched on it. We want to make sure that all the pieces within Harmony work together. So whether it's Cloud Studio, Management Console, Message Queue, EDI, anything we're adding in the future, like Vinyl, will work together in some manner. And again, use cases will be brought in, different things will be built that we're probably not thinking of, but we want to make sure that Cloud Studio, they have the built-in EDI connector, which allows you access to your EDI partners and documents. Management Console will allow you to view the activities and audit log within Cloud Studio for those integrations that you're pushing through via EDI. Message Queue can control your processing of those EDI documents. So if you don't want to send out your inventory or product reports right away, and you want to hold them in a queue, that's something can do as well within Message Queue. EDI itself is a self-managed cloud-based application on the Harmony platform. So that's rounding out the applications and how you would use them. Harmony EDI itself, the capabilities, we've touched on the fact that Harmony is a cloud-based self-managed EDI application. We have an administration panel, which we'll touch on in a minute. You can add, delete trading partners, add workflows, manage the connections, the configuration of those trading partners and their settings. There's a full messaging system, which logs all the activity within Harmony EDI. There's a transaction screen, which allows the filtering of data. It'll show you the document name, the status of the particular order or document. You can reprocess data, resend acknowledgements, search, look at related documents. These are just some of the things that are available. And then from a security point of view, trading partners are segregated by environment. So you have separate users managing different business units with different trading partners. You can separate it out. Different projects can be put into place into Cloud Studio with these separate environments and separate trading partners. So none of the data will basically mesh together. It'll be all separated. And the encryption itself is at rest and during transmission. So everything is encrypted through the transaction process. So what I'm going to do now is go through, I've talked a lot about the EDI pieces and what they do, but I think what people want to see is the actual pieces in action. So the platform itself, you'll see a tile starting in all our regions, just finished off today. All our customers will see in EDI logos this. You'll be able to click on it. It'll bring you to the application, to the admin screen. You'll be able to search for trading partners. You won't be able to add and manage things quite yet. This is the initial release. Definitely, you'll get a message saying contact your CSM or AE, and we'll go through the process of identifying your trading partners, your maps, your needs, and eventually that will become something that will be readily available, and we can provide access to the full solution as well going forward. So you'll be able to, you see here the layout. You have the trading partners on your left. You can filter out those trading partners simply by starting to type out a word. So if you have 60 plus trading partners, which some of our customers do, you'll be able to filter out that list if it's a very long list, or you can filter, manage it this way as well. So there's a couple of different views you can have within the system. You can add a trading partner. And like I said, we have about 400 plus trading partners, about up to almost 1,000 trading partners, 4,000 plus maps, and you'll be able to add a trading partner or again search for a particular trading partner. So by all means, if you have Harmony today, you can go in, and if you need certain trading partners, definitely search through our system here. And if there are any missing that you are going to do business with, let us know. Of course, you can start that process of setting up trading partners and maps if we're going to go forward with a solution. Now, the actual configuration, like I said, is pretty straightforward. We've laid it out in a graphical sense to give you access and lay it out in a manner that you see not just the direction of the data, because inbound coming in from a trading partner, outbound comes from Cloud Studio, and then be able to add new workflows. So if a trading partner has 4 different documents, you would say, I want to do an outbound, let's say order acknowledgement. Sorry. Let's see, probably Power Catalog. And I would pick the appropriate map, if there is one available here, which you'd be able to go in and select it and then save that particular document. You'd be able to activate it and put it into test mode or debug mode and be able to do testing without sending that data to a trading partner. So these are things that we put in provisions to make sure that we can't actually send a document to a trading partner. You can also go through and edit or review that particular workflow to make sure it's set up properly. But for the most part, once you set up a workflow for that trading partner, you wouldn't have to worry about it going forward. But you can see it's very graphical, very user-friendly. And then what you want to do is set up your EDI settings. When you first come into the system and you have things set up, you'll be required to set up an ISA ID, which is your unique identifier on the network or any VAN network. So that's something that you'll be putting into the system. And there's some obviously documentation on our system of how to do that and the significance of that ISA ID if you don't have one already. And then the partner ID, which is a unique value for each of the trading partners, which identify them on the network for EDI. So that's included here. Address information, so information you can add to and the data coming into the system or the data going out. You can also put this in Cloud Studio. So it's something that's optional, but it's here. So again, your CSR, somebody that might not have access to the backend system can alter this data if they need to. It's not mandatory data, but it's here if you need it. Same with terms. A lot of this data will be found in an implementation guide, which you can put in here. And again, there'll be codes and different values that you can push into the document or out of the document through the system. Reference codes, we have the full slate of reference codes that may be necessary for use within your trading partner, depending on if it's a logistics company or a manufacturing company. There might be different types of codes that need to be included in the EDI feed to different vendors. So that's something that's already in the out of the box here for you to take advantage of. Control numbers are auto incremented. If a trading partner ever asks you for a control number, this is where you would find it. And you would give them the net. Basically, a lot of times they'll ask you for the next control number so they can identify that order. And you just say it's going to be 1001. That's the next order or invoice coming to you. And then envelope information, which again will be pretty standard out of the box for either any of the EDI type documents that you need to put in. And then the advanced setting, which is sending a 997. So if the trading partner requires a 997, you simply select that, and that would send an order acknowledgement with the order or associated document. And if it's not required, then you wouldn't enable it. The last setting is the communication setting. We support FTP, SFTP, AS2. So you'll be able to go in here, create a new FTP connection, name it, put in your login credentials, the FTP details, address information, port, protocol, security, the mode, any additional settings, remote folders, remote upload folders, and then you'll be able to set your automation for the system. Same thing, but and again, you can set up as many FTP connections. You can have one that you use for all the trading partners, or you can have separate FTP connections. So you can separate those again. And once you have one set up, you can assign it to another trading partner as well. So it's not like you're limited. You have to set these up ad nauseum. You can go in and actually assign that FTP connection to multiple trading partners. And then the same with AS2 connection. You can set up the name, the sending URL, AS2 company ID and partner ID, the proxy information, all the information you might already be familiar with other AS2 providers. Again, if you have a VAN, it's something that you can use their FTP. If you require a VAN, that's something else we can provide, and just let us know. And again, contacting your CSM or AE to discuss options of different connection types or VAN setup with us. Encryptions here. The ability to set up and upload and generate your own certificates or certificates provided to you by the partner itself as well. So you can go in there and then choose files and set that up. So it's a fully function enterprise level EDI setup and administration. And for the most part, you're going to set this up and you don't have to worry about making any changes or adjustments until you have to create a new trading partner. But again, it's here if you need it and be able to manage it within this panel, and the idea is within Harmony. After you have things set up and managed, obviously, once you receive the first order from your trading partner, you want to be able to see that information. So what we have is a full transaction module, which again, any user can take advantage of. You'll be able to filter by direction, either incoming or outgoing. Errors, just look at errors that have come in. You can filter on multiple trading partners or one particular trading partner or the order type or a combination of any of these. The other unique thing is that we're giving you full access to the data. So you'll be able to see the document itself at a very high level like this. You'll be able to open it up into a new tab and view it like this. If you want to look at multiple documents, you can pull it down like I do here and view that information. And you can also look at the raw view of the data. So if I want to see that raw EDI, I can see that here. And if I want to see the converted XCBL, I can see that here as well. So that will be giving you the association. So we transform that EDI to this XCBL, and then you'll be able to use this to manage the integration and the XPaths within your integration and transformation within Cloud Studio. So we're giving you all the pieces of data needed to manage the integration within Harmony itself. Now, the other thing that we offer as well is a full message per document, as well as the system. So per document, you'll be able to see when the document came in, if there was an acknowledgement, the details around that document. So you'll have child messaging. So this is important for your support team, our support team, for identifying what's going on within the system and be able to see exactly what's happening and be able to see a detailed process of what's happening within the system as well. So that's an important feature to notice. And if I filter on, I believe it's one of these, Amazon. Let's clear up the filters. I thought I had an example here. Oh, it's fast. Anyways, so that would be an example of seeing that data within the system. And if I want to, I can go to the hamburger menu in Harmony and see transactions, administration, messaging. And messaging is the last one I want to touch on. And that's where we have messaging per document, but we also have messaging for the whole system. So this will be, your FTP, when we tried to download, when we started the connection. If I focus on Fastenal, I'll be able to see an order acknowledgement and see if it's disabled or processed. These are all things that we can go in and actually view. And if I go to, I believe it was an example. And I can do searching, so I can look through just acknowledgements or other systems. I can see all the acknowledgements that were sent. And if I can see a successful one, I can actually click on here and it'll bring me to, sorry. Oops. I'll do that again there. Be able to generate that acknowledgement. You'll be able to see the detail there and be able to click on there and see the sys number and all that. So what we're trying to kind of emphasize here is that we give you access to everything within the system. So there's really the three modules. We touched on the administration, the transactions themselves, and then the messaging. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is Harmony itself. Let's log in here. Cloud Studio. So Cloud Studio has a connector for EDI. And so you set up a project, and it's something that you can take advantage of to actually integrate into your document. So I'm going to go I'm not going to go too deep into it for the Harmony users out there, but I want to basically demonstrate that we have a connector that works with Harmony EDI. You can see it here. We have get document, send documents, which get document would be getting documents from Harmony EDI. Send documents would be sending data to Harmony EDI to go to your trading partner, setting the status on orders and documents, and getting the status for particular orders and EDI statuses within the system. The adapter itself, once you have it set up, you'll be able to get, in this case, get document. It's going to look into Harmony EDI and look at all the different trading partners you have set up. So we talked about Commerce Hub. So I know Commerce Hub set up. I know I have a few workflows, but this is only going to work with or get the information for the order, because that's the only inbound document I have. So I have orders. I can click next. And what's going to do is going to fetch that data, and it's going to create that schema. So that schema is going to allow me to basically transform and map that data and bring that data in and attach it to a NetSuite or a database and let me do everything I'm used to doing within Cloud Studio. So what we're trying to do here is introduce a new solution, EDI itself, but also be able to give you all the tools necessary to work with that data in a environment that you're already used to. So if you have extensive Harmony knowledge today, you'll be able to use these schemas and all the other knowledge you have within Harmony to map orders, write the data, manage all that within the system. So being able to link the doc info, being able to pull the header and the order data and process that information. So really that's what I wanted to show today, give you a nice high-level tour. Obviously, if you talk to your CSM and the AE, they can set up a full integration demo with the NSE, and they can go through and explain how things would work and how they manage, and obviously how we price out our EDI. But that's what I wanted to accomplish today, is give you that nice view of everything. And if we have any questions or any, basically a Q&A session,
Yeah, we do actually. Thank you,
Okay.
Blair, for that.
No problem.
First question, does this work with 3PL integrations as well?
Yeah, definitely with 3PL integrations, it's really, there's a couple of aspects. 3PL could accept EDI, which if they do great, 940, 945, all the different documents they may accept, or it could be something where you're dropping off to an FTP site, it could be a flat file. There's a number of ways we can integrate with a 3PL, but it's really just another outside integration point, and we can hit that in a number of different ways.
Great. This one says if the EDI has a different field separator, for example, instead of asterisk, does that make a difference on the setup?
Yeah, for each EDI format, we have in our service integration layer the basic requirements, but you as a user have the ability to change that value. So if it does need a different separator, or your training partner requires a different separator, you can simply go into the envelope and change that information.
Great.
Yeah.
And then does this support all EDI standards, Tradecoms, Edifact specifically?
So we do support X12, Edifact. We are currently working on Tradecoms, which should be released this quarter. We're basically circling around that and trying to get that ready.
Great. How many trading partners can you support at once?
There's no limit to the amount of trading partners we can have set up. Typically, customers that have a large number, sometimes they want to separate them by business division, but there's no limitation. You can have 70, 100. It's just a matter of how many trading partners you want in one environment. Once you have something set up in an environment and the administration of that, within Cloud Studio with different projects, you can call those different environments depending on how you split things up. So that's why I was talking about flexibility. You really can slice and dice this a number of different ways. And that's something our team can help you, work out and fill out. And there's, between an org and an environment, you can do this a number of different ways.
Okay. Who would develop the EDI maps?
So right now, we are, if there's an EDI training partner that does not exist in our network, we will set that up for you. We will create that training partner and those maps. That process gets done by our engineering team. It's a very fast turnaround, but it's something that we'll take up with the CSM and AE and kind of work out that deal. We are going to be working on a way to create trading partners and maps, but that's on a roadmap item for later in the year into next year.
Okay, I'm seeing one more. Can I set up the same trading partner in a production and test environment?
Yes, you can. And you'll have to set separate ISA IDs, but essentially, yeah, there's no restrictions to that. In fact, we probably encourage it because you want to be able to test and do your production separately.
Okay, follow up to the question before that. Can we do our own mapping if we choose?
So you can do your own transformations off the mapping. There's no way currently. The maps that we provide are the maps that are in use.
Okay. Okay. All right. No more questions. If you do have any, you can reach out to your AE or CSM, or find us on the web, jitterbit.com. We will have a on-demand version of this posted within the next few days. We had a session 1 yesterday, and that is on our YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube and search Jitterbit if you want to see the demo again, or if there's anything that you might have missed. We had some good questions there, so maybe you'll pick up something there. I'd like to thank Blair for doing a great job today. I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Be on the lookout for the recording. And with that, have a great evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are. Thanks again.